going to open up whatever program you want to show your 5 images, and then you'll just go up and click the screen share.
Okay.
And then you're going to talk a little bit about the images and what went into creating them and what you like and don't like about them. And then I'm going to grade you on a scale of 1 to 3. 1 meaning that it shows promise, 2 meaning that it's a commendable image, and 3 meaning that it's exemplary and you're awesome. You're
okay.
awesome anyway, no matter what you do. That just means you're exceptionally awesome.
Okay. All right. You want me to bring those up now, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Let me see. I thought I had it ready to go.
Are you nervous? I have a habit of making you kind of just cry at level 4.
I'm nervous, but I think they'll be okay.
Okay.
Did that work? Are you able to see?
I am indeed.
Okay. This picture I took in Baltimore as sort of a photography meet and greet. I don't have a lot of experience shooting people, so lately in the past year I've been trying to get a little more practice doing portraits and that sort of thing. This is a young man, he never really modeled before, wants to get into modeling, so I figured I'd go ahead and take him off to the side and get some shots. I like the pose here, I like his look. I think for me, the biggest problem I'm having is the sky blown out. I guess ND filter or something like that would have helped, but that's the main problem. You know, the main issue I see with this photo.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think because of the angle that you're at, that there isn't enough of the cityscape behind you to make it worthy of being in the shot, so it's actually a little bit more of a distraction than it is helpful. I'd be inclined to actually go in and Photoshop those out. And sometimes you just don't get this guy and you can't expose, you know, for the subject and the sky at the same time, or the sky's just not cooperating, or it's a boring day. You know, I'm always on the lookout for good cloudy days to add to my library so that you can just drag another one and drop a different sky in behind you. But that said, I love the styling, I love the pose. He fits right in with his surroundings and what's going on. The only little things that grab me and pull me away from him are right on his left side by the door. It might even, I think it's the handle of the door. There's just this little like bit of like coppery orange coming off the edge, and because the sun is hitting it and it's got the highlight, I keep jumping over to it visually. So I would take that out. Sunglasses are one of those things where they make everybody look good, but they also create this barrier between you and your subject. So I'm really impressed because he's still throwing an awful lot of personality and attitude, even though you're not making any kind of eye connection with him. I love the body language. I would have liked to have seen a little more of his pants going down. We kind of lose him in the shadow as it goes down further in the image. But that's nitpicking at it. I think this is an awesome image. I love the highlight on his cheekbones and the bone structure. He's got that chiseled jaw thing going on, and all the definition in the fabric of his sweatshirt and his pants. So I'm going to start you off with a 3. I think this is a really good image. The only thing that I would have fixed really that's really bothering me is the sky, but I still think for being at level 4 that it's a really exceptional shot.
Okay. You mentioned the orange. Are you able to see my mouse?
Yes.
Are you speaking here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's that, and it's the little lower part there. Yeah, right there. That just, I keep jumping from him to that because it's a variation in color in the highlight. You could just crop it in just that 1/8 of an inch, or just go through and clone it out.
It's funny, I never noticed that until you pointed it.
I know, and now you'll see it every time you open the shot.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, next image.
This was also at the same meet and greet. Basically, it was a bunch of photographers, a bunch of models getting together, exchanging cards, taking some shots. This one was taken outside of the building. Um, Again, I like the way she looks. I like her pose. I had some I have some personal doubts on the temperature of her skin. I can't. Other times it looks good. Sometimes it looks a little too warm for me. And there's something else. The hair here. I never noticed it until I posted it in the community. Someone pointed out that that might be a little distracting. I haven't changed it. I figured I'd leave it the way it is and let you take a look at it.
I agree with the hair. I'd definitely be inclined to clean that out, and it looks like she has like a little bit of a bruise or a blemish on her elbow. That little spot that would go too.
Hmm.
Um, I don't necessarily. I tend to shoot in really warm colors, so the warmth of her skin doesn't bother me. But I could see where. I think that's just a personal preference in how people like it. Because a lot of people give me a hard time that my skin's too warm, and I do it that way purposefully.
Okay.
Um, I love her fingers on the wall. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of her fingers and her hand on her head, and you never shoot into the armpit. Armpits are not sexy ever.
Okay.
So if you're going to bring the arm up to the head, I love that. But you want to have her actually turn away from the camera so that you can't see into the armpit because it widens up her shoulders and makes them broader, so she looks less feminine by extension. So you'll see if you pay attention to it the next time you do that shot, having her turn away will actually completely slim her down because of the angle. And it'll also change the angle so that you have more of her neck in the shot and you don't start to lose her head and face into that arm. But I do like the shot. I like the energy. She's almost got this like ballet dancer kind of feel from that arm all the way up her shoulder, just because of the way she's holding her body. That I think is really attractive. And I like the background wall. That it's very interesting without being overpowering, because sometimes it can be. There's a couple of highlights on the wall that are a little bit distracting from the sunspots coming through. You can't do anything about that with the camera and the moment there most of the time. That's something that a lot of times I'll just tone down and post and try to match it a little bit so it doesn't distract. But overall, it's a really good shot. It's well exposed. It's always difficult, and a lot of newer photographers, particularly ones that are just starting to play with portraiture, have a hard time finding the balance between keeping all of the information in, say, a white shirt where you can still see all the wrinkling and the detail of the fabric of the shirt, and having darker pants and keeping all the information there without losing any in the highlights or the shadows. So well done there. I'm going to give you a 2 for this one. I'm not entirely sold on the pose, but I do like the shot as a whole.
Okay. Okay.
Next one.
Next one. Oh, this one was taken, I think in the summertime, last summer. This is my little niece, and there's another shot of her later. I had her pose. This is a local park. Her mother approached me to just, get some photos of her. I like the bridge in the background, so I had her go and sit on the bridge, and at this point of the photo shoot, she was a little worn out, which is why I wanted to have her sit there. I kind of wanted a sad little girl look. I don't know. I like the shot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a good shot or not, but it's one of my favorites.
I like this shot as a whole. I love her little pouty kind of, I'm done with the day kind of feeling that she's giving and that she's close. I think it's a little wide. I think this shot would actually work better as a landscape. We don't have a lot of information under the bridge because of how dark it is, and I don't necessarily think that above her is giving too much. So I would be inclined right about where your mouse cursor is. I would be inclined to put that as the top of the image and cut it as a landscape photo instead of a portrait, so that it zooms in and lets her be the star of it, especially in black and white. because there's so much information with the grain and the water staining and the lines leading in and out that we kind of lose her a little bit in it. And she's got such an adorably, small child pouty face going on in the body language, which I really love, that I would like to see her be more prominent in this shot. But it's a great image. It's a great capture. I love her sitting on the bridge. It makes me think of like Winnie the Pooh, like playing Pooh sticks. So I could totally, this would definitely be an image that every mom would buy, because as soon as it came up, it was, aww, and as soon as you get that, you've won. That's a sale. That's like ka-ching of the cash register. All does that. If you can get a mom to go, oh, that's it. You've sold it. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a very high 2 for this one. I think the cropping minimizes her a little bit too much, but other than that, I think it's a beautiful shot, and I love the energy of it.
Okay. All right. And this is her again. Caught her much earlier in the day in our shooting. And at this point, she was still excited to do the shoot. Trying to get her to pose and smile. A lot of times, you ask someone to smile, they give you their best fake smile, I guess. So what I did here was just ask her about her favorite flavors of ice cream, and she lit up. And as she's talking, I'm taking pictures. So I like this picture. The thing that bugs me the most is the blanket that she's sitting on. It's like a black blanket. I'm wondering if I should try to work on that, just leave it the way it is. I'm not sure how noticeable it is for anyone looking at the picture. Also, I posted this picture before, and it's something I never noticed, but someone else pointed out the 2 catch lights in her eye, because I did have 2 umbrellas set up, one on each side of her, and trying to light each side. I didn't have a reflector at that time. But
the dual catch lights wouldn't necessarily bother me, except for the fact that you didn't catch them in both eyes. So I would be inclined to go in and probably remove one of them in post, just to even it up so that her eyes don't look uneven. The blanket isn't necessarily something that I think has to be gone or is distracting, because it's a darker color and it kind of blends into the dress. But yeah, it's so minimal that it would be such an easy retouch to just pull some of the grass out and down to that. So if it's bothering you, then I would say remove it. You definitely got a genuine expression in the smile, which I love. But you also did the thing that I hate about children's portraits, which is that you have all this emotion and it's not connecting with the viewer because she's looking off the screen. And you see that with people all the time, especially with children, where everybody's yelling at them to try to get them to look near the camera, so they're always looking not at the lens, but like up and off. Yeah. So I think it would have been much stronger if we had actually gotten her to connect with you directly through the lens, which is really hard to do with children, but it's a pet peeve of mine. You did, however, get all of the texture of her adorable curly hair, which I love, because I can't stand when that gets lost in the shadows with a lot of people, because that's going to be like one of her features growing up, that everybody's going to be like, oh my god, that curly hair. Yeah. So I love that we got all the detail and all the highlights of the curls there. And she's super, super cute. I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more color in her eyes. We kind of lose the iris along with the pupil, like they blend into each other. And again, really hard to do when you have naturally really dark colored, dark pigmented eyes. But I think if we had had the lights a little bit in and we'd caught them just a little bit more, it would have created enough of a distinction that we could see the difference between the iris and the pupil. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on while you're shooting as well. This one's really, really pretty, and she's adorable, but I don't necessarily feel like this is a shot that her mom couldn't have taken in the park and just gotten lucky with. So I don't necessarily know that this one would fit as far as a professional portfolio image, but I do like it. It's like it's on the edge in between the two. So I'm gonna give you a 2, but you're just getting by with a 2 on this one. It's cute, but there isn't anything that's really setting it apart for me as a professional photograph, as opposed to a picture of a really adorable kid.
Okay.
So that's it. Is that all 5? Or one more?
One more. All right. I threw this one in there. I just wanted to mix it up a little bit because I don't always, like I said, I don't have a lot of practice shooting people. This is a shot I took last summer or summer before last. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's in Ocean City, Maryland, and for the longest time I've been looking for a pier shot, and I actually have another version of the shot. It's more the outside of the pier, but I kind of like this under the pier shot, and the thing that bugs me the most about it, I guess, is just and there's not much I can do except maybe Photoshop this diagonal board here because it just upsets the pattern of everything. But other than that, I don't have a problem with anything else in the shot. But I brought it so that maybe you could show me something else that I overlooked or didn't notice.
No, I think you're right. I do think that one diagonal line cuts into all the vertical, so it does become a little distracting. I would clone it out personally. But you also don't necessarily have this personal symmetry because you're standing on the edge of underneath the dock on the left, so there's all of these other vertical bars going down that are support beams on the other side because it's 3 pillared that aren't on the left-hand side. So I also feel like there's an awful lot of negative space in the first 2 bars on camera left.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and I don't know, but I would be interested to see if you cropped it in on the left and the right, you would take care of the diagonal bar and you would take care of this empty space, and then it would be a much tighter picture and it would almost look like a corridor, and I think it becomes more abstract art because it would be in on like the 3rd to 4th pillar.
And that's kind of what I was going for, was a corridor. That's what I saw in my mind anyway.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to go in and crop it tighter so that you take that out on both sides. Like, even just taking your hands and, like, putting them up to it, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It becomes this, like, almost ethereal, like, light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing, especially with it being a slower shutter speed and you having sort of this foggy kind of movement in the water. But I love the texture of it. I love it in black and white. I think it's a beautiful shot, and it's well composed. This is definitely an art image. So I'm going to give you a 3 for this one. And that's not bad to score 2 3s in your first critique.
Oh, thank you.
Well done.
And that was the last one.
Yeah. So you can go up and click off of the screen share. And how are you doing in your first couple weeks at JLark? It's a little bit unnerving when you come in the middle.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out exactly where stuff's posted and how, I guess, how it all flows. You know, what to do for each level. I like that at the end of your requirements for the level that you do like a too long didn't read little synopsis at the end, because sometimes when I read through, I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what she's asking, and then at the end, that helps a lot.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm a skimmer when I read, so some people like go back and forth and like read 2 or 3 times. Some people just want to know exactly what the requirements are. So,
yeah.
How are you liking it so far?
I'm liking it. I feel like being part of the Arcanum and being part of the cohort is giving me a little kick in the butt to get moving. Plus, I've watched every single one of your 5-minute Friday videos.
I forgot about them.
Back, but they were awesome. Um, so each time I get in there, I feel, and I see everyone else's work too. So I feel like, okay, I need to get back on task.
Okay, so what is it that you're trying to do with your artistry? What's the end goal? If I could be your little photography fairy godmother and snap my magic fingers and make your all your dreams come true, what does that look like for you?
I don't know.
No
um,
pressure.
what I want, I mean, I want to shoot for a living. I'm not sure exactly what type of, whether I want wedding photography or portraits. So, I mean, so what I'm trying to do is experiment with little boudoir portraits. Um, I'm afraid of weddings.
Okay.
Um, it seems like it feels like it would be a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility. But I feel like I need to shoot one or two just to see. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe it'll be something that I love to do. But I'm shying
Um,
away from it.
they are a little bit, they're more, I don't know about high pressure, it depends on your personality, but I shot them for years and I loved them because I'm a hopeless romantic and I got married in the middle of a blizzard with like 42 people that I now know really love me because they traveled through 3 feet of snow to get to me. Um, so I live vicariously through all my clients, and I love it. Like I love all of those moments, and I get really excited about them. But I also love teaching, and they got into play. Weddings are a very good way to have the high energy thing and have that connection to people, and they're also a very easy way to make a decent living off of picking up a camera, essentially, if you do it well. When I left, I was doing about $8,000 to $12,000 a wedding, which is no small change around here.
Wow.
So I'm all about it. The word of caution comes in that it's once. There is no do-over. If you mess up a portrait session, you can offer them a free session
Right.
to make up for it, or they can go find someone else. They have neither of those options if you screw up their wedding.
Yeah.
So I would be inclined to tell you to go find someone to second shoot with, and that way the pressure's not on it, because any good photographer that works with second shooters, the first time they work with them, they shoot the wedding as if you're not there, so that anything that you add to the album is just gravy.
Right.
And that way the pressure's off, because you aside from the financial and the legal ramifications of messing up the most important day of somebody's life, there's that emotional sense of responsibility too. So I'm all about exploring and finding different things. I think a lot of people try different things because they're trying to see which one they can be financially successful at, as opposed to really trying to find their niche. So with what you have been playing with so far, what do you really love? What really gets you excited to pick up your camera?
I think the portraits. So
Okay.
I've only done a few, but I think something about capturing people. There was a time where I wanted to focus on street photography because the people drew me towards it. Where I live now, it's kind of a rural area, so my opportunities for street photography are kind of minimum. For what I imagine anyway, I would have to drive to Baltimore or DC to get some of the urban shots that I want. But I think right now the portraits is where I want to focus on. And
Okay.
yeah, after dabbling, I realized it's much harder than shooting like up here in the ocean.
Well, there's both. I mean, the nice thing about portraits is that your subject is your client. The peer is not buying the beautiful portrait you took of it, even though it is a beautiful, beautiful image of it.
Hmm.
So you have to find somebody else that speaks to, and that can be a little more different when your client is detached, as opposed to when you're shooting people. You immediately have a client in front of you that wants what you're selling, which is good. So as far as business goes, portraiture is a much easier thing, I think, to build a business around. But I also think that your peer image is very, very high-end art gallery worthy, even if you feel like you're just dabbling and kind of getting your feet wet, pun intended. So, but if you're feeling that connection to people, then I would definitely explore that and see, because like I said, there's nothing that says that you have to do weddings. And what would you say, what's the average wedding photographer around you as far as price?
As far as price, I think my wife and I got married summer before last. We were frugal and picky about the quality of pictures. I think we paid about $1,200 for about 4 hours of photography. I've seen them go to maybe around 2,000. Maybe
That's about average here. It's like maybe like 1,500 to 3,500 seems to be the range, with like, you know, very inexpensive and very, very expensive on either extreme.
right.
You're out of Jersey, correct?
No, I'm in Maryland.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you and I are close, especially comparatively to most of the other apprentices who are like in London and Sweden
Right.
and other places.
Yeah.
So being in PA, I can tell you, and being in Maryland and taking New Jersey and DC and Virginia into consideration, I can tell you that for portraiture, that you could easily be making $1,000 to $1,500 for a portrait session, let alone for a wedding. So unless you're going, I'm a hopeless romantic, I really want to get into weddings, I love them,
Yes.
you know, we can focus on the portraiture and build your business around that.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
I just had other photographers tell me that, you know, do what you love, but the weddings pay the bills. And I don't think I really want to be a wedding photographer.
No. And you should never make the decision to get into a genre of photography because it's financially viable. Because the problem with that is that there are certain laws of nature and physics, and one of them is if you chase something, it will run. So
Right.
profit follows passion all the time. And the problem is that we kind of get it drilled into our heads that, you know, you have to find the ideal client, and you have to go where the money is, and you have to focus on all this. And all of that advice is really saying, here's your art. Let's step you away from that and have you think about all this stuff. So you have a whole bunch of photographers creating mediocre art, trying to find clients that they can educate on the value of artistry when they're not focusing on the value of their artistry.
Right.
So I would rather see you shoot something that you're really passionate about. Because the bottom line is that if you don't shoot what you truly love, what holds meaning for you, what gets you excited and out of bed early because you just can't wait to go pick up your camera and go do this session, if you don't do that, you don't create art, you just take pictures.
Right.
And the people that just take pictures get paid the frugal amounts of money with the people that value the cost more than they value the creativity and the artistry. So it's just a decision between whether you want to be an artistry focused business, or if you want to be a studio that's focused on the bottom line. Because you can do that. I know photographers that do that and do that well, and they treat it like a business. But there are very few people that get to go to a job that they really love every day. And you've heard that adage of, you know, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Like, there are some people that are like, no, I go to work, and then I work hard and I make a lot of money, and then all of that money I take and I put that towards all the things that I like doing.
Right.
I hate that mindset, because that says you're going to work until you're 65 and your body is tired and you've wasted 2/3 of your life at a job that you hate, that you spend most of the time that you're awake doing, and banking on the idea that when you hit 65 you can retire and then spend your time the way you want.
Now you can have.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm really selfish that way. I don't spend my time doing anything that I don't like doing. Like, I surround myself with creative people online and in real life, and I shoot and I create my art and I play with my kids. Like, anything that I don't like doing, like, I cut it out. Like, now when I say I have work to do, it's because I haven't done laundry in 3 weeks. Like, that's my idea of working now. So let me pose it to you a different way. If you didn't have to work, because everybody goes, oh yeah, I'd love to make money at photography. If I was going to just send you a check for $10,000 every month for the rest of your life,
Hmm.
what would you want to do with your time?
I would travel and take pictures.
Okay,
Travel,
what would you take pictures of?
just various countries and scenery and people, and I would just see the world. I love to travel, so that I would.
Okay.
um, but I can't. I don't want to say I can't. It seems like that would be that would have to come later because of the cost involved and travel, and unless I happen to land a job at Nat Geo or something like that, where they're gonna fly you off to different parts of the world and let you take pictures.
Well, I think that it goes two ways. You can definitely look for that, but then you still have somebody, and that's awesome. I mean, my sponsors and the people that pay me to teach do that all the time. They send me where they want me to go, and I go to those cities, and it's really fun, and I have a great time.
Mhm.
But there's plenty of places that they don't go that I want to go. So either you can focus on that and look at um, networking with companies that can send you there and that do need stuff, and you can work on your company being on a global thing and your clients being globally based, or you can simply create, a roster of all the places that you want passport stamps from, and then you just find who the clients are in those areas. Like later this year,
Mhm.
we're doing the butterfly migration, the monarch migration down in Mexico. And
Wow.
it's really as simple as, like, we were talking about doing it for my book project, and the one girl that I'm doing is called the Monarch because she's the queen of the project. And
Wow.
I was like, I want to shoot you in the middle of the migration. So that's what we did. Like, we're looking up prices and we're bringing the whole team down. So, it can be done. And for me now, it's as simple as wherever I want to go, I just book a seminar in that thing and I teach. Or I tell all my clients and my following, I'm going to be in this area. And they go, oh my God, I can't believe you're finally coming to my state. And so I'll knock out a couple of portrait sessions
Uh-huh.
and teach a seminar or something else and do that. So it's really just a matter of figuring out where the money is, as far as what it is you want to do. Like, if you want to go and you want to photograph these beautiful places and the people of it, who
Mhm.
wants to buy those images? Because there's nothing that you can't make money at if you're creative enough. Like, anytime you start to think that, just realize some guy went, I bet you I can take this long piece of styrofoam and throw it in a pool, and that'll be a toy. And he invented the pool noodle, and he's a millionaire now for that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's true.
so I'm more interested in you figuring out exactly what you want to do, because the people that are at the higher levels, now that you're in convergence, talk to some of the people that are at level 15, 16, because once you get past the foundation levels, we
Mhm.
custom build you your own path, and it's specific to you. Everyone that's in those upper levels are working towards what they're doing. Like, we were just talking with Monica before you. She was
Uh-huh.
working towards gallery shows. She just brought all of her images to critique that she's doing her first gallery show.
Right. Wow.
So it's really just a matter of figuring out exactly what you want, and then you just back plan the steps from where you want to be to where you are, and we take all of the issues that are standing in front of you that seem insurmountable. Like right now, you just put money as an object in between you and what you want to do. I want to go to all these beautiful places and photograph. I don't know that I can because of the money involved. So if that's the only obstacle, that's the only thing we have to move away and break down into smaller pieces.
Wow.
And it starts to be a lot less surmountable. Like, people say, oh, I want to make $100,000 and shoot weddings. That sounds like a lot of money. Well, really, that's only 10 weddings a year at $10,000, or it's 20 weddings a year at $5,000,
Right.
or it's 40 weddings at $2,500. And then it just becomes a matter of how much time you want to spend working. But you start to break it down, and you go, oh, that's really not that insurmountable. Like,
Right.
40 weddings. Even if you were doing 48, that's 4 weddings a month. That's like one a weekend, or 2 on one weekend. So
Totally.
it is. Say that again.
Whatever it is, it can be done. It's just.
Absolutely. The thing is that what I want you guys to do, and where the focus lies in House Lark, is that I don't want you guys to look for the easy way. because there isn't. It is hard. It is a lot of work. Like, today I had a pipe burst in my kitchen and from the bathroom upstairs. So I have no bathroom in my house at all right now. Like the bathtub is on the floor and my toilet from the room is sitting right here next to me in my studio because we had to clear everything out. And my kids got sick and came home early. And, I'm leaving for a week for Vegas for WPPI, and I'm doing all of the critiques, and I have the creation where it's like, it's a lot of work. But I love it. I love it. So this was the best part of my day, was sitting down with everyone. You don't want to, if you start looking for the easy way around and the fast fixes and the quicker way to get there, the shortcuts, that's when people start stumbling and not reaching their blocks because they're looking for the easy way around. When you really love every part of the process that you're doing, you don't care about the time it takes you to do it because you would do that with your free time anyway.
Right.
So the trick is finding something that's not easy, but finding something that's worth doing the work for. So for you, what I want to do is I want to spend the next half, because you just get level 4. Yay! I want to spend the rest of the foundation levels. You'll see we're going to get really into kind of defining where it is that you want to be and what you want to focus on and what is worth the work to you. And then when we do this again at your level 9 critique, we should have a really good focus on what that is. And then for levels 11 through 20, we break that down into manageable steps that get you there. And the people that are at 11 through 20 will tell you, like, I was not easy on them. They have been working for it. But Nicole quit her job, moved across the country, and opened up her own studio. Wow. And Martin is getting ready to come to the United States, and then in June, him and I are teaching together in London because he wanted to teach, and he's training to be a master right now. So everybody's working towards exactly what they want. Monica wanted to get to a gallery show. She's at level 14 planning for her gallery show in April. So It is totally doable. You just have to put the work in. And not everybody that made it to level 11 did it. Like, we lost a couple of apprentices and it was too much and they didn't want it, but that's not a bad thing and it's not a negative thing on them. It just showed them whether this was really what they wanted or not.
Right.
Because that's the trade-off. Is it worth the work? Because if it's not, you shouldn't waste your time doing it. You should move on to something else that you do want to do.
Right. Okay.
So that's your soul-searching question. Sit down with your beautiful new wife and, go, baby, where do we want to go? If I'm traveling all over and taking pictures, where are all the places we're sticking the little pins in on the map? And what do I want to photograph? And what do I want my life to be like? How much money do we want to make every month in order to have the lifestyle that we want to have, not just that we currently have,
Right.
And once you start getting the answers to those questions, then it becomes very easy to plot the path when you know where the destination is.
True. That's true. I'm excited and scared at the same time.
Good. That's a good thing. That's exactly how I want you to feel. If your dreams aren't a little bit intimidating, then they're just too small.
Okay.
So how are you feeling after your level 4 critique?
I feel good. Good. I'm excited to see what's next. And I don't know. I can't wait to see how it all ends, how it all turns out. Where am I going with this? So, I mean, it's something I've been thinking about for a while. Like, I'm not sure exactly what I want, but I feel like doing this will let me see what it is that I want. Will make it clearer for me what I like, what I don't like, where I want to be, and where I'm going, that sort of thing. So.
Okay, so your personal homework after level 4 is that I want you to sit down with a notebook, and I want you to stream a consciousness right, and I don't want you to think about it, and I want you to write at least to the bottom of the page all the things that you want. They don't have to be photography related. They can be life related. You can tell me about your dream car or your favorite restaurant that you want to eat at 3 times a week, or what new clothes you want to buy and new gear you want and photography and places you want to travel. But write me a list. Make it a page, make it 3 pages. Just write everything that you want down, and then you have to take a picture of it with your cell phone and post it in the group.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
your homework.
It's just a sentence like, I don't know, buy new Canon 5D, and then
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
Okay.
just like that. No problem. No details. It can be as little or big as you want. Like rent penthouse suite at Waldorf Astoria while shooting gorgeous,
Right.
dark-haired model, and then go down and have, show and dinner with wife, and then buy a new car and, huge 6,500 square foot house and, you know,
Okay.
whatever it is.
Okay. I can do that.
That's your goal. And then you can start figuring it out. And nothing is wrong. Like, you can go as small as you want. You can be like, and I also really, really want butterscotch crimpets from Tasty Cake. That's always on my list, like right now.
I'll put brownies on there. Brownies
There
are
you go.
a gift from God.
Good. All right. Well, you have passed with flying colors. Welcome to level 5.
Thank
You're
you.
being congratulated, and I will see you again at level 9.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.